How y'all doing? It's me, Judge Lynn. I always mean to check my sound before I go on, but I never remember to do it. So I just checked it now and we're okay. How you been? Now, first of all, I realized the other day that I show up here with y'all in the worst looking rooms of my home, the worst corners of the worst looking rooms that aren't painted, rooms that have 9 pounds of of craft material. And I thought, well, today I would do something a little better. And I also thought, to give my publisher stop his heart palpitations, I was going to put my book up there because I always say this is my book about my mother, which we're going to end up talking about today because I was my mother to my son today. My mother's thing was always, you got to be aware, and not just of your surroundings, but your inner thoughts and feelings. And you also have to be aware of your word usage. You can talk your way in and out of all kinds of moods. There's an entire rule in that book about said thing. But I'm going to tell you what happened yesterday with my son. I ain't going to tell you which. I'm not even giving numbers no more. Y'all know Holly Robinson Peete, right? She's real pretty. She was 21 Jump Street. She was hanging with Mr. Cooper, all of that. She is the only person I'm jealous of online because her entire family, her whole family, all of them participate in her public life. But I got a family, don't like to be mentioned, don't want to be seen. So if you're out there, Holly, how you doing? I saw you walking the line for the J Hud show. I like Holly Robinson Peete. But anyway, I don't know. Complaining about my family. But anyway, it's another thing altogether. See? But anyway, my son said, I'm having a bad day. And my mother's typical response to I'm having a bad day was, are you sure? My mother was a strong believer that you can talk yourself in and out of moods all the time. As a species, we are storytellers. We hate randomness. Things that are just disorder or out of line or just, unpredictable. But I like it. Our brain says, I don't know what this is. And since I don't know what it is, I don't know if it's dangerous. So I don't like it. That's me talking to me. You hear my dog out there? But anyway, 66 is a monster. I had to stop and go back and remind myself where I was because I'm so old. And then in that process, my landline. I'm the last person in the world with my landline. Don't know who would be calling me on my landline. I don't know my landline number, but somebody's calling me on my landline. So I'm just feeling old in this moment. But we'll move on. That's another example of talking yourself into things. You make decisions about how your day is going to go that are going to be unrelated to how your day actually ends up going. But since we're storytellers, we like to tell ourselves we know what is happening and what we're going to happen and all this kind of stuff. So my son said, I'm having a bad day. And I said, as my mother often said to me, are you sure? And the thing with that is, sometimes when you have one bad event happen, well, it goes around. And then another bad thing happens. You put them together. That's two bad things that have happened to me. And it's like when if you bought a new Ford if, well, no, because those were all over. But when I bought my Volvo, because it had a very good safety rating, I never saw a Volvo before. I mean, I've seen them, but I never saw them. And then once I bought one, they're all over the house. They're all over the place. I see Volvos over here and Volvos over there. And it's like now, because I'm aware of Volvo. So if your mind has told you you about to have a bad day, what it does is it looks around to confirm that. So things that may be neutral will come to you as bad because they weren't good, further feeding the feeling that you are having a jacked up day. And then you've decided you're having a jacked up day, so you anticipate angst. Anticipating angst. I am the biggest angst anticipator ever to walk the planet. Anticipating angst is the dumbest thing in the world. And but when you've told yourself, I'm having a bad day, you're anticipating angst. So if you got to return something to the store, I never return anything. I just take the sucker punch, which is really interesting for a cheap person. I think maybe it just means I'm lazier than I'm cheap. I don't really know. But anyway, trying to put a label on everything, which is exactly what I'm telling you not to do. I see the, I see the, I see bit of an oxymoron there, but okay. But anyway, and so your body language reflects it. How you read what they're saying, tone of voice, all of that is being interpreted by a part of your brain that is trying to convince you, or you have decided you're having a bad day. You might come crooked initially to someone who wasn't going to come crooked to you at all because you thought, I'm having a bad day. I know this chick is going to give me trouble. Let me. Oh, no. You got to check your program. You got to check a doorway check. You know what I mean? I used to do always the bathroom mirror mandate every time, in the morning. And when you're in the bathroom, look in the mirror and say, what kind of mood am I in today? Are there places I should not go today? Should I not talk to that aunt that gets on my nerves? Should I get out of the house? Should I stay home? Almost got away with it. I got to make a turnaround here, so hang on for a sec. And I did it too tight, too. So, that's another thing. I have realized while I'm crocheting how much stress I'm under is how tight these things are. I had one anyway, because I have a lot of stress and tension in my body, and I leave it in here, and now I think maybe I'm gonna start all over again. Yeah, too tight, can't take it. But anyway, what you're doing, and then you're talking, and you're feeling, and you're feeling, and you're talking, and you're seeing everything through the lens of I'm having a bad day. And maybe you were having a neutral day or a day, and you made it a bad day because you thought about it like that. And when you think you're having a bad day, you miss seeing the things that are good. If you concentrate. You ever see that thing where they have women or men playing basketball, throwing basketballs to each other, and they ask you to count so you can accurately count how many throws? And my husband and I were both there together doing it. And I was counting. I knew how many throws. And then the announcer said, did you see it? And I said, yeah, I saw it. There were 27 throws. And she said, and Eric said, nah, you didn't see that big gorilla that was dancing through the crowd while they were throwing the balls? See, he wasn't counting the balls. He wasn't interested in doing that. That's the kind of dumb stuff I do. He just saw the whole picture because his mind was free. If you're chasing if you're chasing the balls, if you're chasing them, this certain detail, this one rock all the way around everything, you can't see what else is around it. And your mind is very much like that. See, I gotta relax. Come on, everybody. we're going to have a light, untight crochet today. So, and my mother's rule was always talk to yourself and make sure. I used to call it the bathroom mirror mandate. That's where I was before I got distracted by like 97 different tangent trains. That's why I have trouble making shorts out of these. Everybody says you got to make a short out of them, but I'm so disconnected, discombobulated. I can't put 3 minutes of one thought together. But I was talking about the bathroom mirror mandate. Like every morning, you got to know where your head is. You got to know what you're upset about, who you're upset with, what you're upset, and what are the things that you have to get done today that you don't want to get done, and how you're going to approach them, and what you're going to do about it. But now I have expanded that theory to include every doorway in and out of a building, ingress and egress, not within the building, but just ingress and egress out of the building, because it depends. We've got a lot of people feeling, not too many people thinking. And so in every ingress, I go in there. Who are the kind of people going to be there? Like, there's a Hobby Lobby state of mind. The Hobby Lobby state of mind is you go and you don't worry about the woman in the thing that has 97 things in her bag. Because this is the kind of store that is Hobby Lobby. They take their time. Everybody got 97 little pieces. And you should go in there with your mind straight. But I'm here to delight my mind and to find some joy in this day. And so instead of worrying about tomorrow, which is typically what I spend my time doing, I'm going to enjoy the atmosphere of Hobby Lobby. Now, if you're going in like to the DMV, you got to be glacial in that sucker. It used to make me crazy, the DMV, until my mother told me about myself. I've told that story a million times, so I'm not going to tell it again. But she was like, look, I'll just tell you the end of it. That woman did not create this process, so don't you get mad at her. Because she could read me like a book. She could read everybody like a book. It was the most amazing thing. She even, well, no, I'm not going to go through that. But anyhow, all I'm saying is, when you're going in, where am I going? Who are these people? What's going on here? Where's my head at? Am I upset? Am I cool? Am I angry? Am I tight? And what kind of people are these? And how do I best interact in a manner that doesn't say I'm weak and small, but that says, like Xavier's been one of my sons been talking about, was like Cesar Millan, calm, not calm aggressive, but just authority, but calm authority. I want to talk to the manager. It's not the way you come at a dog that's upset. You have to come and, what's up? If you have to separate, I had to separate them yesterday because they was fighting for real. But it has to be calm, but authoritative. And throw a smile in every once in a while. Just throw a smile in every once in a while. You never know when someone could use one. I smile at people all the time. I smile at everybody. Even people bothering me, I smile at them. I do that because I think it bothers them. I try to be nice, but I ain't above a petty thought or two. Now, all I'm saying is, do not define your day by a few random things, because it makes it easier. We love to tell the whole story. This makes sense because this makes sense and all that kind of stuff. You're going to have a day. Let's say we've decided we're going to have a good day for no particular reason at all. for no particular reason at all. It's going to be a good day. And then I'm going to run around and look for the goodness in it. Like, for instance, so far, only her touched my hair twice. Good day. I remember to put my book up. Good day. I have already swept the floor, mopped, and it is 9:18 where I am. Cleaned up the kitchen. Good day. Now, I don't know what's going to happen in the rest of it, but I'm going to keep looking for good day. And a good day to you. Want to ask me a question? Leave the link tree. It says ask Judge Lynn. You can do that. And oh, hey, Sadie Lunch Lady, what's happening? That was cute. And Patricia Crawford. And I wanted to say Buzzard Head. I'm gonna do better on that next time. But some of you come a lot. And some of you say some funny stuff, and I appreciate it. And I wanted you to know that I read it and that I see it. And then I laugh and I love it. And then I move on, and I can't find it again. Because once you say yes in the community, I don't know what's going on. So I need to be more consistent about that. But I'm gonna have a good day. Not gonna worry about nothing. What happens, happens. I'm going to look for the kind, the good, the pleasurable. You know, when I get ready to fly, which I never like to do, he never said, be safe. When he left me at the airport, he never said, take care. He never said, be careful. He always said, have fun. Because he knew his nervous wife would be careful and to say, stay safe flight says to me that everybody's concerned that it might not be a safe flight. You know, have a good flight. Have you noticed they stopped saying safe flight, they have a good flight. You know, because safe flight brings up the images of I'm in a tube 35,000 feet in the air, and this really shouldn't be happening. You know, I never could get quite over the grandiosity of that. You know, I should not be in this tube. I don't know the cat in the front. Maybe he's mad at his wife. I don't know. I don't like the whole idea. I'm a control freak. I had this one flight. It was awful. It was a thunderstorm. There was a woman sitting here. Her husband was here, and I was sitting there. And the wife, there was lightning. I mean, it was right around the ring, like boom, boom, boom. And she was fascinated. Her mug was out the window. And I rolled over. I said, excuse me, ma'am. I said, can I hold your husband because I'm scared to death? Oh, she goes, oh, give him a thrill. And so we were sitting there, both of us. And she looking out the window having a good time. Now, if the plane went down, we'd all died. But she'd have had a 5-minute fun before we went. We were just there with our palms sweaty and our eyes open. Perspective. He knows I'm going to worry, so he tells me to have fun. My mother never told my sister and me the same thing, and I have never told my sons the same thing because they're different people. And if whatever she told my sister would have sent me into a loony bin, and whatever she told me, if she told my sister, it would have sent her to jail. You got to know who your kids are. I don't know how I got there either. Y'all have a good day.